I love this lady. I don't have her story. I didn't talk to her at all, but I just think she's gorgeous. And she stood in that line for hours.
Wow.
This was in Philadelphia, and I think the lady in the front of the line said she got there at about 6:15 in the morning, and they didn't start handing out food until I think it was 10.
Wow.
And the line stretched around the corner for her.
Welcome to Hopecast, where we share hope and inspiration about what God is doing in our personal lives at Blessings of Hope and in our community. I'm your host, David Lapp. In each episode, we'll explore the powerful ways that faith, generosity, and love are making a difference in those around us. Today, I'm joined by Shelby. Actually, I'll let her talk about what she does here at Blessings of Hope. So, what's your role at Blessings of Hope? What do you do?
I am a photographer.
And what does that mean?
That means I get to take a lot of fun pictures and I get to go on a lot of adventures.
So, what are some of the highlights that you want to share with us today about okay, I know photography gets you excited, but what about photography gets you excited? What's the excitement behind the obvious?
One of my favorite things about photography is how I can be in a completely chaotic situation, and through the lens, it's peaceful. Mm-hmm. And how I can hone the picture to be something different than what was all around.
So what are some of your favorite photo shoots that you've done?
Yes, I'd love to talk about that, and I brought some samples to show you.
Good.
So these ones here are some of my favorites, and I have a sample of what I was talking about with that, the busyness that can be all around, and then how the image can look peaceful is one of my favorite things. And here's a sample of it. So that's the picture that I took. And it was an impromptu. I was bringing groceries home from the selection center and putting stuff away. And we were in the middle of rebranding this, and I knew I wanted something with food all around it. So I had groceries all over my kitchen. At the time, I had 3 children running around. And to get the right lighting, so it cast the shadows in the right direction. Oh, this was going to be my dinner that night. I was making fettuccine Alfredo. So there's the fettuccine and salad. This is what my kitchen table looked like. I was actually standing on the bench, surrounded by crayons and coloring books, with my husband's water bottle holding up my bounce reflector that was reflecting the sunshine, and you can see a memory game holding up the pasta at the right spot.
Good. So sometimes you just gotta get creative and make the photo.
And I love it. The chaos that was happening around me.
Wow.
Versus the peace that the camera picked up.
So all the photos that you see on the newsletters, on the website, all the different Shelby might not take all of them, but she's responsible for all of them. So
yeah. A lot of them are not mine, but many of them are. Yeah. I was thinking about what are some of our most iconic images for Blessings of Hope, and I think this is one of them. This one we used, it's at our entryway at Greenfield when you come in behind reception, and we used it on the front of our gift certificate packet. It is not one that I took. It was taken by a coworker, but it is friends of mine, 2 of my friends, well, my friend and my husband's friend, and we staged this shoot in Lancaster in an alley. And the funny thing is they're both pastors, and I told them not to dress up.
Okay.
And they both wore preaching shirts.
Nice.
So that's a little fun behind the scenes there.
Yeah.
About this image. I think this is one of our most iconic. And then we have the dehydrated food. This one, they were packing the soup blend, and the ladies, they had the idea to hold all the cups together and take the picture.
Just give an idea of what goes into a bag.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And so we made sure to have the pretty colors and set it up, and then got the picture, and I just think that one's really cool.
Yeah. Wow. And there you had some apples as well.
Yeah. So the apple ones, these are ones, another thing I love about photography is how sometimes the most random moments, I'm winging it, here we go, I'll just snap a picture and see how it turns out. They get used a lot. And they are turn out really good. So I was walking through our warehouse at Becker Road when we had all of those apples.
Loads of apples, yeah.
What was that? 2 years ago? Fall, maybe?
I think it would have been fall of 23.
Yeah. Oh, it smelled so good. So good of apples. Anyway, we were making cider. I had just come back from the cider press and taking pictures of that, and we were going to do a story about the cider. I was walking through, and I was like, oh, look, there's a gallon. Well, I need some of that in my house. Like, I'll get some of that, select some of that. And then I walked past this huge skid of apples, and I just tossed it there. And while I was taking pictures, I thought, oh, it kind of looks pretty. So I just took a picture of it, and it's gotten used quite a bit as well.
I know one of the first photo shoots that we've done, I think it was with Steve, and we did all this, I think it was 20, 30 photos. And when it was done, he was walking away, and it's not one more photo, and that's the one that we used.
That's a good one.
Because it's like he relaxed, and he was just in the moment versus trying to be up tense and trying to and sometimes you just have to relax, and like this is the one that gets
That's
used.
when it works. Yep. Sometimes it works. Yeah. So this one was part of that apple cider story, and this was another situation where it was chaos. It was just chaos all around me. I'm sitting on the floor in my kids' playroom. This is actually their play table.
Yeah.
And I just needed a picture of hot cider. Fun fact of this little photo is it's not actually hot. The steam I put in with Photoshop.
Anymore, you can't even believe all the photos you see, right?
There's no way I could have captured steam, even if it was.
Yeah.
So I just put that in later, and I thought it turned out pretty great. This one was with butter when we made the 80 gallons of cream, I think it was, into butter. I randomly got a call that day from Fanny. We're making butter. Okay, I'll come over. Yeah. Didn't know what I was getting into.
And that was also used on the newsletter.
Yes, and then
second quarter 24.
It was like the next day that I was at home and about ready to feed my kids lunch, and Sadie Mae, who does our social media, was putting the post together for social media, and she messaged me. I was like, do you have any pictures of the butter like being eaten or being used? And I was like, nope,
but I can make one.
Give me half an hour. And so this is actually my daughter holding the toast. I had her make some toast, and we put the butter on it, and yeah, you're right, it made it to the front cover of the second quarter newsletter for 24.
Yeah.
So quite fun how that all, again.
So how did you get started in photography? I mean, is just one day you woke up and like you're going to be a photographer, and
I wish
we all lived happily ever after?
I grew up playing with my dad's 35 millimeter film and loved it. Just absolutely loved it. But it was film, so I didn't get to play with it very much because you only had 35 shots. You couldn't take 20
shots of the same picture, yeah.
And then you had to wait for it to come back in the mail. So it took a while to learn. I got a digital camera shortly after high school, and then I had most of my experience before coming to Blessings with product photography for my handmade business. So. Nice.
So what do you like most about what you do? You got all these different pictures. What's the most fun of what you do?
The biggest joy is I love when I'm out at outreaches and I hear the stories of answered prayers and of impact and of what God is doing and how He's meeting people and how they're experiencing Jesus. That's by far the coolest part.
Do you have any stories that stand out? That you can quickly, like just a short, something that this was one of those moments?
Yeah, I don't have any pictures of anybody in particular, but some of the more memorable ones. I love this lady. I don't have her story. I didn't talk to her at all, but I just think she's gorgeous. And she stood in that line for hours.
Wow.
This was in Philadelphia, and I think the lady in the front of the line said she got there at about 6:15 in the morning, and they didn't start handing out food until I think it was 10.
Wow.
and the line stretched around the corner for her. Allegheny West is the area. Allegheny
Okay.
West Foundation is that ministry we're
ministry.
visiting, and this is the area that it's in. I had never experienced like food desert, or I am not a city girl. Give me a cornfield and a tractor. I'm so nervous in the city.
Wow.
And so to drive there put me so out of my comfort zone, but it was such an amazing experience because I never saw firsthand the poverty of not having a grocery store that
Wow.
you could get to.
Yeah, I mean, if we actually think about the reality of some of these people's stories, it just puts that much more passion, that much more urgency on what we're doing here at Blessing of Hope, and just being able to. I mean, I heard a story. This wasn't firsthand, but it was through a friend that he was in, I believe it was Baltimore area, and he was talking to a class. He held up an egg and he asked him if they knew what it was. And they had all kinds of guesses of a ball. This was I think it was like third or fourth grade class in school. And he said there was like 50 or 60 students and they were guessing all kinds of whatever. And he finally had told them, no, it's an egg. And they just laughed at him. He was like, no, an egg is a little round yellow thing that's about that thick. And that's what they knew as an egg. And he was like, this is an area where for them to find any real store, they had to get on the bus, ride about 25 minutes to get to a store, and then ride back home. And all they had was a corner store or a fast food joint that had an egg was a flat piece on the bread, just a little disc on the bread. And you're just understanding the blessing that we have, a life we growing up, and just making sure we don't take that for granted. And yeah.
We're so spoiled in Lancaster County with all of the farm markets
Yeah, I mean,
and little stands.
literally right across the road from our house, there's a farm market with fresh eggs, fresh milk, fresh produce all summer. It's right there. So yeah.
Yeah, in August we were in Brooklyn for an outreach, and I walked into that corner store intentionally because they were talking about it's the deli. Ooh, that ain't no deli like I know.
Yeah, wow.
And I took pictures of that one. I don't have any of them here today, but that I thought spoke volumes. It was crowded, floor to ceiling, packed, and not. I don't think I saw a head of lettuce in there, or baby carrots, and it was canned goods and.
Yeah, I know it's important to share with the community what we do here at Blessing of Hope, and just share some of these photos, some of these stories, just to. I mean, I know for myself, if I wouldn't be as active and involved as I am, it would be hard for me to grasp the reality of what a lot of these people live with. But we hear it ongoing day by day, and it's like, okay, how can we make a difference? How can we actually impact people and make a difference for eternity? So thank you
It's amazing.
for the photos that you take, the effort that you put into getting the right shots, and just being able to share that with the world, with the community. So
I'm happy to.
Anything you want to share before we wrap this up?
I mean, I got tons of pictures. Well, how many stories do you want to hear?
I don't know.
What's your most iconic photo for Blessings of Hope? What do you think of?
There's a lot of good ones. I know some of the ones we have around the Hands of Hope boxes are, just the lines of cars and the people handing out boxes. These are probably some of the ones that or people standing in line. Just like you said, in line for 4 hours to get a little bit of food. There's so many good ones. I don't have one specific that really jumps out at me, but there's a lot of good ones.
This is that line at Allegheny West where they stood in line, and it wrapped the whole way around the block. Just amazing. Sat there. I think I took this photo around 9 a.m. So the outreach hadn't even started yet. They hadn't even started handing out food.
Yeah.
And this one was up in E-Town. I love this one. This one hangs in one of our buildings somewhere.
Yeah.
This guy has so much character. So much character. He told me bits and bobs of his story, and I can't remember all of the details now. But yeah, I love this image and how it shows the line, but it also shows so much people. And it's so relatable with all their faces looking, and yeah, it's just
It's
connectable.
it's amazing. Everybody in that line, everybody that we meet, they have a story. They have something that they experience, and if we can remember that versus just seeing them as another person and actually get to know them, get to know their story, it can make a difference.
Yeah,
So,
the stories are amazing.
yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today on Hopecast. Continue to take some awesome photos that we can use to tell the story.
Rock, yes, do that. Turn your body a little bit more so I can. Now put it down. Put your
To learn more about Blessings of Hope, check out our website at blessingsofhope.com. God bless you, and remember that you can bring hope to the people that you meet every day.